All right, I hope you guys are ready. We have an exciting week in the stock market coming up. It is March 24th today, so tomorrow, March 25th, is going to be the first day, 2019. And we have a lot to go over in terms of some of the scenarios that could play out, the news we have for this week, and even just the overall plays for now and setting up. And this is a moment that we are early, but things could change fast and very quickly. And what I mean by early, we're early for the upcoming earnings season. If the market was to make a downturn, we're going to be early. As far as making another rip towards highs, we're early. A recession from the yield curve, we're early. It's time to prepare. However, just like what the yield curve has shown me and how fast that moved, things could happen quick, and we even got a lesson like that last week with Facebook stock and just seeing how that turned around. So we have a lot to cover here. I'm really excited. If you guys are excited, well, be on the stream tomorrow morning, and that's what we're going to do. I'm going to go over some plays here. I want you guys to comment below with your watch list. We need people with eyes everywhere, and make sure you're on the stream. We're live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open, youtube.com/the stock market. It's in the comment section in the top corner, everything. Drop a like on the video if you like these watch lists. You want them in to make sure that YouTube shows you the high porn. No, but this is going to be exciting. So let's talk about the few scenarios right away. The first observation with the yield curve, how we closed on Friday, it was a pretty wild week, honestly, and I think that is the expectations for coming in this week. A lot of people think it's going to be negative. A lot of people saying it's technically very bearish. This will make you think the market's bearish. So be careful for how that's going to play out. If a lot of people are aiming that way, honestly, I think we're either going to see, of the two scenarios that come to mind, we're going to get a flush out Monday and Tuesday, and the markets could drop very quickly and then kind of bounce up. Here's the thing, noticing from last Tuesday to even Friday, equal opposite reactions. We talk about this in the stock trading course. You guys could check that out in the description, but it's seeing now what sort of reaction do we get here? Do we have an equal reaction downwards or opposite? But I could expect either 2 days down and some calm and even some sort of bounce up. I get a full cuck like we've talked about, or it could even be calm for the first, all the way up to Wednesday, and kind of as we see Thursday and Friday could bring out some moves, or it could just be overall death. But it's watching the scenarios here because it does have time to develop. Now, the main thing now coming into this next week that we have to watch for, why do I say this? Because we see that it's very bearish. However, the market could still digest a lot of stuff here, and the types of events we have coming out could really make some changes, or it could slow things down, add one of these little jump ups in between if it's going to continue off of stuff. So there is going to be China-US trade talks coming out around Wednesday, but I think the biggest things we're going to see some more info out of Japan, which kind of affected the markets on Thursday, but mainly the US fourth quarter GDP, and then the payrolls, personal income for February, all that stuff. So we're going to get some economic data. We're going to get to see the balance of trade for the U.S. also, and there is a few countries reporting similar data, but that could have an effect. And then lastly, starting even tonight here on Sunday, all the way down throughout the week, we're going to, all the Fed, people on the board of the Fed, they're going to be speaking, they're going to be having their speeches, and, considering what just happened, we might see if, any good comments come on. Some of the people are liable to move the market, we'll see, but again, it's going to be watching the interaction, that's what I'm saying. It could be very early to tell or assume, okay, this is, the market's already looking bearish, it could continue, but I'm kind of watching for the things that could stop the market, kind of add a buffer, and then kind of just, again, lead to the continuation, or seeing what could make it a reversal, but now in favor of kind of getting prepared and why it could take some time, even if we're going to build up on the downside, even upside. Earnings is in about 2 weeks. So a lot of the plays even we're going to talk about here, if you guys want to think earnings, use these opportunities, but also be careful because volatility can make it more expensive to play. But stocks could start pricing stuff. Here's my warning I'm going to give. I said it on stream. I think Intel is going to be the company. I could be wrong, but expect to start seeing some possibly more guidance cuts from people prior or premature to their earnings, just like we saw Apple do in the beginning of January. We might see some of these companies admit, hey, we are actually, they're going to give some profit warnings. I think we could see that next round, as we've seen some of the leaders like Nike and whatnot already report, FedEx, all that. But that's pretty much it for the market. That's going to going to be stuff to watch. Again, come to the live stream. We're live 30 minutes before open. So if anything changes, there's any developments, even watching the futures, even with this Mueller report and all this other stuff, which Mueller didn't seem to have too big of an effect. But if anything changes, we're going to watch that. And then same thing with the plays now. So whatever plays I'm going to go over, we're going to add to these at market open. I want to know your guys' plays. I want you to contribute to them. And again, even for like one of them I want to focus on is the indexes. So even with everything I've said now, turning this to an actionable play, watch now what is going to be leading the way, leaders and laggers. And I think transports, as we've talked about, IYT and then IWM, the small caps, those are going to be the leaders and laggers comparatively to how they've moved the last week, and bank stocks too, which we're going to discuss. But now with like IWM, transports, even bank stocks, everyone piles into the same one, that could make some of these are cheap to insure now, but if the demand increases, that's hard. So what I'm encouraging you guys to do, using these as a watch list, find certain entities that are moving like these or under the same way, like find different transportation stocks, FedEx, UPS, CSX, or the bank stocks. We've seen Goldman Sachs didn't perform as well as a Citi or Wells Fargo or Bank of America put. So find some of that stuff, come to chat and contribute. That's the advantage of all these eyes we have here. But I'm going to be watching those, and I'm going to be watching those stocks in between those. Specifically, one I want to watch again is FedEx, see how that plays out. And then next, we're going to get to the bank stocks and some of the other companies I have. However, I think it's time to watch the chip makers now. We got to let them go, but either way, we got to let them go this last week. We saw some big moves upside. I said be careful on the puts Friday, even though some did pretty good. I had a $10 play turn pretty good, but that was on the daily. But now the question is going to be the premiums coming into this week. But this is also along the lines of laggers and leaders. The chip makers really got to lead. Apple went up a ton, but now NVIDIA, AMD, Micron, the moment is getting here now. If we do get a few days of decay and they get cheap, depending on how the market reacts, we will see. But I'm going to keep my eyes on for those for the best play possible. And then next, I want to look at Goldman Sachs and the banks. But specifically, I want to, Goldman Sachs, I think is going to be a good one because it hasn't moved like the other ones yet. Wells Fargo and Bank of America, they if you put them up on chart, they look the same. But hopefully you guys could see. Wait, that's BA. What am I saying? I meant BAC. BAC, but in like Wells Fargo, they look the same, but surprisingly, it was a way bigger percentage move on these smaller stocks than Goldman. But again, Goldman's one with a lot of delta that could run. So there's that. We're going to, watch the SPY, but ultimately now too, Boeing closed at a low. If you guys, again, been screaming this since the rooftop about Boeing stock, everything that's been going on, the options, they got kind of cheap. So we're going to watch them. We'll see if they have any defense near 360 because, again, if it does start to climb lower, if you saw my video on the buybacks with Boeing, the next level we'll see some real market support from the company itself will probably be around 332. So this could get pretty exciting. It could get pretty fun. But also, again, if it did what it did last week, it was hard to really make money on those puts unless you were getting out till next week. So that's going to be something to watch. And again, it's all in the name of laggers and leaders, and that's going to be the big topic. But I'm going to watch those, the chip makers, and then Facebook and Apple. Apple for a continuation. I want to see. It's really just been holding up the market. And then Facebook for some of its independent, the independent drama it's been doing, and then also just how it's been moving. It has been, again, one of those laggers in terms of some of the FANG stocks. If we see Amazon and Apple, you can see they're very up. This is a 14-day on Amazon. That was just a 14-day on Facebook. It looks, night and day difference. So I think even with Apple too, straight up, even Netflix, I believe did the same thing. So Netflix is one too I want to keep my eye out now that it's finally moved, and I saw some of the put premium get up, so I'll keep that on the list as well too. And then lastly, McDonald's and some of those value stocks, McDonald's, Starbucks, Walmart. Again, you guys have seen these before, but it's watching how they behave these week, especially now. Look at that 5-day performance on McDonald's. Markets closed down. It's going to catch up with it. But if you guys saw what it could do, it's about identifying the spot when it moves with the market, and then when there is a slight rotation, trying to snipe them when they pick up. But you saw what McDonald's did. What I'm encouraging you guys to look at now is Walmart and Starbucks, because they're liable to do the same thing. They're moving at their own pace. So that's pretty much it. Again, a lot of it is the same as last week. Not much has developed, but now it's going to be really responding. So make sure you guys are on the live stream. Subscribe to this channel. Drop a thumbs up and put your watch list. Let's go. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow morning. I'm really excited. I hope you are too. Control your expectations. Be smart, you guys. Be patient. Knowledge is really key with this. You don't always have to act. And if you guys have seen how these weeks have played out, take your profits quickly, secure the bag, be smart, space it out, all of the above. Be smart with it. I'll be there with you guys tomorrow morning, so I'm really excited. I better see you guys on the stream. Don't sleep in. Get a good night rest. Eat good so your stomach doesn't upset you. Drink some water before you go to bed, but not too. Okay, yeah, I gotta go, man. I love y'all. Peace.